Bo Tom spins away from Fogarty, goes straight down Main Street. He's got Bullemor there. Manly on the stroke of half-time will take the lead.
Great pass. Here's Bullemor. Oh, yes. What a brilliant try, Ethan Bullemor. He leapt high. He somehow got possession back of Connor Tracy. And then Ethan Bullemor, he went through the sharp right foot step and takes Manly back within 6.
Alrighty, here he is, the Manly Seagull himself, Ethan Bullemor. Good afternoon to you, young man.
Good afternoon, gentlemen. How are we?
Going good, Ethan. What did you train today, or did you have?
Yeah, mate, we did.
You okay? What did you watch any of the Super Bowl?
We caught a little bit. It was on in and around the training facility through the days. So yeah, a lot of the boys are pretty interested in it. So we're watching it in between training.
Okay, you're not, by the sounds of it.
No, I am. Yeah, no, I quite like the NFL actually, mate. Yeah, I went over to America one off season and saw a college game over there, which I thought was awesome. Yeah, I think they do sports so well, mate. They make such a big show of it, and yeah, I think it's a great spectacle.
Might be an omen, Brian. The Eagles.
Yeah, that's what we're going for.
The Eagles
in all three
That's
codes.
it.
Could it be, Ethan? Could it be?
I reckon it can be.
Wow. Why so? Why so more than ever?
I think we've got all the pieces there. Like, I think our spine, is right up there with the best in the competition. We've got some pretty sharp outside backs, and I think we've got a forward pack that can do the job as well. So I think that ticks all boxes, and it's been a few years under Siebes that we've had together now, and I think we've been building nicely.
How is Lachie CROKER? I know he had that knee injury last year. I did see him down there at Brookie with a knee brace on. Is he back to full training?
Mate, I think he's still a little bit off.
Yep.
As you said, yeah, he's obviously going through rehab at the moment. I'm not 100% across his return date, but I think he is probably likely to miss the first few games. But yeah, obviously he'll be huge for us once he gets back, and that can't come soon enough.
What's your trial schedule look like for yourself, Ethan? Are you expected to play big minutes?
Well, I won't play this weekend against South.
Yep.
And then I think the following week we play Penrith, and we haven't finalised teams for that, but I'm sure Steves will let us know shortly.
So when you say you won't play, you and a host of others won't play? Like, we've got team list Tuesday tomorrow, but is it something that, like Brian and I have had discussions about this in the ad breaks, I would just put my best players on in round one. I just think it's already a long season. Do we expect to have not a full-strength Manly side for this trial against South?
Yeah, I think a few key guys won't be there. Like, obviously, especially as I was talking about before, we've got a spine and, some outside backs and so forth that are very, very experienced and played a lot of first grade. And obviously, yeah, I'm not 100% across what Steve's plans to do for the second trial. But yeah, I think in this first trial, we'll probably see, some more emerging guys play.
Now, Bully, look, I could talk all things rugby league with you all day, but you're not on here to talk about rugby league now. Investing. Now, you are one of the few rugby league players who, have you got accreditation or some sort of degree in finance, or you're going to uni? What is it?
Yeah, I do. So I've got a Bachelor in Advanced Finance and Economics.
Here we go. Yep. This is it.
It's important you don't miss the advanced. It wasn't just regular. So.
Okay. So, all right. All right.
If you want to note that one down, Fletch.
Now, last time we spoke to you, Ethan, it was all about the Bitcoin, because I was frothing on Bitcoin. It's gone up, it's gone down. It's quite volatile, as they say. What should we be looking for to invest in the future, do you feel?
Yeah, well, I obviously, on what you were talking about before, I've been fortunate enough to do a bit of work at a hedge fund, so Regal Partners. So that's, their bread and butter is investing in Aussie stocks. Got a few global funds and, some private credit funds and really a range of funds now. But yeah, bread and butter definitely is Aussie stocks, and I'd say that's probably what I'm mostly across. Bitcoin, for me, it's a little bit like the casino. You can win a lot, you can lose a lot. I think there's definitely some credibility there. You see more and more people coming out and I guess back in it. Obviously, Trump has been a bit of a pro-Bitcoin force in the last year or so. So that's been driving it up. But yeah, for me, like what And what we do at Regal, I think, is more looking for, companies and businesses that, we think are fundamentally sound, and then I guess try to buy those at a cheaper price is generally the recipe.
So, Bully, I mean, rugby league is a tough game, and you've got to put a lot of work, especially this time of year. How much time are you putting in to working at Regal Partners?
Mm. Yeah, so the way I've worked it out is generally I'm in there 1 day a week. So our schedule at the moment, for example, we're generally training Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday off, Friday, and then sometimes a Saturday morning. So I've been regularly going in on Thursdays at the moment, and then once we get into the season, that becomes a little bit more variable because training days sort of depend on when the game is on the weekend.
Interesting. No,
I was going to ask you this, Ethan, and it's a good chance to give because a lot of people stereotype or we stereotypical of rugby league players. Tony McFadden, Paul Heptonstall and the likes, great welfare managers who push the likes of you into this kind of avenue. Give your own Manly welfare manager a rap. Maybe they've played a part in what you're doing as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Like we've had two guys in that role since the time I've been there, which is John Bonacera and Timmy G, and they're always super, super supportive. For me, like I was probably also lucky where I guess the seed was sown probably early in my life. Like I had parents who were, really encouraging of me, going to uni and things. But I can't talk highly enough of, I guess, the work that the forces in rugby league have done to encourage that and give us resources like the RLPA. Like, all the wellbeing officers and education officers, both at Manly or, when I was in Brisbane, in the NRL, I think there's resources there, for people who want to take advantage of it. And it's definitely been, very beneficial to me.
Mate, you had a stormer of a year last year, I felt, and that ended with selection for the Prime Minister's 13 up there in Papua New Guinea. How was that experience? And if you were offered the chance to go play for the new PNG side, say next year, would you do it?
Yeah, it's a great question. It's one I think probably almost every player sort of had, in the locker room or had with family. Look, I think the PNG experience was definitely eye-opening. They're such a passionate country. We spoke about how really it's the only country in the world, I think, where rugby league is their national sport. Their fans just love it. I think, the other thing is there's obviously going to be such big financial incentives to go there. If, as far as I understand, it is tax-free dollars. So, being a finance guy,
Yes. Well, I've heard some rumours, Bully, there's some tax-free clubs out there at the moment.
Oh, is there now?
Yeah, that's what I'm hearing.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. Is that right?
That's what I've heard.
What are those ones?
I can't tell you. I've just heard.
Make Brian.
No, I'm not saying that. But what about, because I've been up in PNG, and you're right, Ethan, it's quite amazing how popular rugby league is.
Yeah.
Did you find it was a little bit dangerous out there in Port Moresby?
Look, statistically speaking, you'd say it's a little bit more dangerous than, obviously parts of Australia. Look, I'm not 100% sure what the setup will be there. From my understanding, they're going to obviously build a bit of a compound, and I'm sure they'll invest a lot into security. I think there's no denying it'd be a huge change, mate, and I guess how we live our day-to-day life, I think, going there. So it would definitely be an adjustment. But, look, I think you'll see a lot of players be willing to do it, for a number of reasons. And I think overall it's good for the game, right? I think even looking at, I guess, Redcliffe, a little bit of a different example, but, they've come into the club and, into the league and definitely have been a success, I'd say. Like they've, probably performed better than, some pundits probably thought they would in the first year or two. And they were, again, a similar club that had success in the Q Cup and same as the, PNG team has over the years. So, I think it's really interesting, man. I think it's good for the game.
I know the government's chipping in. We've had John Aitken, who is the doyen of Married at First Sight, Brian, on the program. I would love to have...
Well, just as Ethan, watch MAFS, so we know what we're talking about. Do you watch MAFS, Bully?
No, mate, I don't.
Hang on,
you're missing out, mate.
You said that with that was you sort of.
Yeah, you're missing out.
Was quite patronising.
Are you taken, mate?
There might have been a bit of a patronising tone there.
Are you taken? Are you?
Me, I am. Yeah.
Oh, okay. So you're off the market. That may explain that. But we would love the dinner party. Imagine the PNG. So they're going to be in what's called a compound.
Yep.
And I just think the weekly dinner party, with players or without the players, partners, just do the dinner party. By the way, so we understand you're a bit of a gym junkie, and last year you were conquering it all. Brian and I, these days, we don't train as much. We're the layman or the layperson. And look, benches sort of Brian's go. He punched out, I think he punched out 171 kilos. And
175 is probably
okay.
best.
Well, one-legged squat's my go. I got 270.
Right.
How would you go, Ethan, with those sort of metrics?
I reckon I could compete with you.
So you were king of the gym last year. So this is quite impressive. The 170 is impressive, but the one-legged squat, 270 kilos. Which leg was that?
Well, I will preface this. Like, it's kind of a bit of an interesting exercise, that one. It's like you're in a bit of a lunge with your hands supported kind of on a bar. So you're not just using one leg. I think I'd be happy to claim that if you want to keep pushing that, but I probably can't lie on radio. So I will say that.
We do it every day.
Well, that's true, actually.
What about your inspiration too? And this is real sort of club culture stuff. You turn up every week, sans the Pepsi sign on the front logo, but geez, you got a bit of Spud Carroll about you. Have you that hair, that luscious hair? Was he your inspiration?
Mate, it's actually a funny story there. Like, obviously, we've had a bit to do with Spud over the years. Being at Manly, I've got more familiar with him. We've gone and trained at his gym a few times. He's been really good to me personally as well, mate. Like, I think he's invested a bit of time and a bit of care in my career, which I appreciate. But it's funny because quite often he'd come into the dressing sheds at home games before we'd play last year. And I think, I don't know how many home games we played. Maybe it was 11 or 11 or 12. And I'm pretty sure 11 from 11, every time he'd come up to me, he'd say, "Geez, I love your hair, mate." Oh. So it become a bit of a running joke, and I kind of have to keep it going. So, you could say he's a bit of an inspiration there.
Now, Ethan, we've got to go, but I need this question. They're trying to wrap me up. I've got $1,000 I want to invest. Give me one stock that I should be investing my hard-earned in, please.
No financial advice.
Mate, Regal Partners Limited. That's the company I work for, and I think if you go and look at our returns on our website, or anyone listening, you'll see how well we've done over a period of 20 years. And I reckon we'll continue to make our investors a lot more money.
Yeah, no.
Very diplomatic.
Hang on. Just give me a share. Just give me a share tip.
RPL.
And this is not financial advice.
This is RPL.
Oh.
PL. It's a listed.
Oh, you're listed. Sorry, I thought.
He's just saying, he's saying forget about Buffett.
Hang on, stand by.
What's Buffett's stock called? It's called
Berkshire Hathaway.
Berkshire Hathaway.
Okay, so you're on the upward spiral. Middle of 2023, you would rat's ass. You're up to about $4. That was before
we bought that business.
Oh, yeah. Was that before you actually
came? The previous business we took over and got listed, and RPL has been doing pretty well since. So I think that'd be a good investment.
All right, no further questions, Your Honour. We look forward to having you on later on in the year. Formerly Bitcoin Bullemor, but it's a great Ethan.
Now
Bullemor.
It's called Equities Ethan.
Yeah.
I like that one more.
Do you like that one? Better than bankrupt Bullemor.
Well done,
no,
mate.
hopefully not yet.
Maybe it's the year of the Eagles. Ethan Bullemor, thanks for joining the Run Home with Joel and Fletch.
Thanks, guys.
See you, mate.
You're still here? We'll see more on the Joel and Fletch socials and catch us live on SEN Radio. Because if you don't, you're an A grade. But if you do, you're the absolute Mickey.